Happy Christmas to everyone except Oda, who's being a real jerk lately. No, actually, this was pretty much the perfect chapter. This was 10 out of 10. There's really nothing that I think could have made this chapter better. What a chapter to end the year on, right? It delivered so much. We looked back on so many iconic moments that we're so attached to, that we already have so many emotions and hype and like scenes that are some of the greatest scenes in the manga, but we get to see them again from the angle of Kuma, through his pain of what he had to do and what he had to be, the way that he was used as a tool, but also through his hope, through him being able to see a better future as he went through these things. He had hope in the one that would come and bring liberation to people like Bonnie, that would give a more hopeful future to people to come, to bring down the oppressors and actually let people live in liberation. I mean, it was so powerful and tragic, but it was also so beautiful to have those threads of hope carried through Kuma, and then of course the end of the chapter. But let's start at the beginning. So Bonnie and her pirates, the Bonnie pirates, are out to sea. I wonder if they know that they're following a 10-year-old? That's a question that I have. But regardless, I love seeing them out to sea together, and it's so sad to me that Bonnie thinks that her dad, she's trying to learn to put on lipstick, but also she's like, if I pierce this spot right here where my jewels used to be, maybe dad will still recognize me. Maybe if I make a name for myself, then he'll know where I am and he'll want to see me. It's so tragic to think of this little girl who doesn't understand. She doesn't have, at least at this point, during the flashback, not post-flashback because she got Kuma's memories, but during the flashback, when she's this child setting out to sea trying to get her dad's attention, that she doesn't understand what it is that's separating the two of them, and so she's hoping to make a name for herself so that he'll want to see her. She's hoping to pierce her cheek so that he'll recognize her, when all this time, she's all he thinks about. She's his entire motivation for every decision that he's made. And if it were up to him, he wouldn't spend a second away from her. And in fact, he's following behind, checking in on her. He can't speak to her, he can't talk to her, but he can peek through a window and freak some guys out so that he can see her. It's so sad that all this time she was just searching for her dad and didn't know that he would give anything to be able to talk to her again, but he already gave everything just so that she could keep on living. But then we also got the perspective of the world. We got to see Luffy reacting to his first bounty again. We got to see Sabo and Dragon and Smoker. We got to see Ace cheering and celebrating. Look at him, look at this, my little brother. He's making a name for himself. It's so sweet to see Ace so proud, and it's so funny to see Jinbei, who is gonna join this kid's crew, being like, him? Really? Like, he's something? In this chapter, it was completely confirmed. He definitely knew, like, it's gonna be Luffy. That's who I'm putting my hope in. We saw him react to the events of NS Lobby when he learned that Luffy declared war on the government and said, hey, that sounds like the one that I've been waiting for. Then we saw him on Thriller Bark when he went after Luffy. He had to, and he was forced to use Ursa Shock against them, but then he let Zoro take the pain and reflected on the fact that that pain is great even for Kuma, even for what Kuma can withstand. And recognizing that the crew that Luffy has built truly is something incredible, something special. And we see him reacting to the one that he believes is the one that he's been waiting for declare war on the world government again, this time by hitting a celestial dragon. The very ones that used to enslave Kuma, the very ones that used to utilize him for just carrying cargo and beat him, and who killed his parents, his dad, right in front of him. We see the one that he believes he's been waiting for hit one of them in defense of a fishman, in defense of one of the most oppressed races on this earth, and how much that means to him. I just imagine Kuma knowing, you know, he has these prophecies. He knows that Sun God Nika is, he looks like a rubber man. He has the body makeup of like that of rubber. And then he sees Luffy. He hears about Luffy and he goes and he checks him out, and he just continues to follow him, and he sees these displays of a liberator. He sees these displays of someone who defends those who are being harmed by those in power. He defends those whose very agency is being taken away by the world government, who are being viewed as less than, who are being viewed as lowly, just like Kuma was, just like Kuma grew up with. He sees someone who makes it his job, his business, to step in between those people and the world government. And he sees signs of the one that he's put his hope in. It's just such a powerful image. The idea that Kuma has had his hope his entire life since he was a child in Sun God Nika coming and liberating them and setting them free and giving them a better future. And we actually get to go through in these flashes, in these moments that were already so iconic, that were already so important to the series, that we already have so much attachment to. Now we see them from Kuma's eyes, and from Kuma's eyes, this is the proof of the hope that he's been waiting on. In Kuma's eyes, these events are more than just events for the Straw Hats, which is what they've been for us. It's more than just the moments that we fall in love with Luffy more and more, and we see him be the hero of the story. For Kuma, it's we see Kuma finding the one that's been promised, the one that was passed down through the Buccaneers. It's just so powerful. I mean, it's powerful to see these scenes from another angle, but the angle that we get to see them from is Kuma finding the one. But alongside that, we also see him being used as a tool, being forced to leave Dragon and Iva, and they don't understand why, being forced to stand up against Whitebeard, being forced to confront and attack the one that he's been waiting for, the one that's supposed to bring a new future to his people. And we see how much pain that causes him to turn on his friends and to turn on the people that he wants to be supporting, but he has no choice on them in the matter. So it's this bittersweet of how much it cost him to be used as a tool like this against the people that he loves and he wants to be defending, but also the threads of hope that go alongside that pain. It's just incredibly written. It's brilliantly written. One of my favorite scenes, I have two favorite scenes of this chapter. One of my favorite scenes of this chapter and one of my favorite scenes of this flashback of the chapters of 2023 is going back to the post-war arc, where we look back on when the Straw Hats were fighting Kuma, and one by one he was paw-pawing them away. One by one they were disappearing, and Luffy didn't understand why, and he couldn't defend his friends. And this is already one of the greatest, most emotional scenes in the series, with just from the perspective we've already had, but now seeing it from Kuma's perspective and seeing how internally he wants them to understand, I'm not trying to hurt you. This is not a malicious attack. It's an act of mercy. I'm showing you that you're not ready. I want you to be able to make it. So I have to show you what it's gonna take to get there. And he sends them away to the islands that he's visited to protect his daughter. For his daughter, he visited these islands trying to find a solution for her. And now he's sending these Straw Hats to those places to protect them, to help them see that they need to train up, because he knows that it's going to be Luffy that's going to save the world. He knows that it's Luffy that's going to be the liberator. He knew. He knew. I don't know if he knew from the moment he heard about Luffy having rubber powers, or if he did a little bit of investigating and he watched. The way I read it is that when he learned that there was a kid with rubber powers, his ears perked up, and he went and he checked it out. And then over time, we watched him see displays of the spirit of Sun God Nika in him declaring war against the government for a girl who in the government's eyes didn't deserve to live, and declaring war on a celestial dragon by punching him in the face. Oh, so satisfying. So that, or to defend what is considered one of the lowest races and not even worthy of being treated like a human. And seeing the devotion and goodness of the crew, that they would be willing to go through so much to protect their captain. These things were evidence to him that this person doesn't just have the makeup of Sun God Nika, but he has the spirit of Sun God Nika. This is him. I think we slowly watched him realize, this is it. This is the one I've been waiting for. And so he pawpawed them away so that they would have more time to train, to show them in a safe way, to show them, you're not ready. Look at what it's gonna take. And so he protected them by making it him that shows that to them and sending them away so that they can train, so that Luffy has the best chance of being the one. And even asked Vegapunk to program him so that after he's done fighting Whitebeard, that he could then go and give his all, give to his last breath his entire strength to protect their ship. So Kuma admits to Vegapunk that Luffy is Dragon's son, but also that even though, yeah, Nika is believed to be a legend, he's meant to be a myth, but if there truly is someone who is going to be the liberator, who's going to be what I have been waiting for, it's him. It's him. It's gonna be Luffy. It was so beautiful that even to the end, when he's laying down for the last time, told you're about to lose your very sense of self, your individuality, everything that makes you you, he's still smiling at the hope that even though he can't fight anymore, even though he can't keep going, he has the hope left in him that someone else is going to keep fighting. Kuma's fought his whole life, and now he can go out smiling because he knows someone else is gonna keep fighting. And here we come to the scene that my artist, Tassine, drew. Kuma running along a path of the people that he's been fighting for. This man really never has stopped running, dedicating his life to helping the people that he cares so much about. A lot of people have noted that the stance that Kuma is in as he runs in these panels is reflective of Sun God Nika and the Nika dance that Kuma passed down, showing that as he's been running to protect those that he loves, he has been the liberator in their stories. He has been playing that role of the protector and the liberator for so many people. As he's been waiting for Sun God Nika to come, he's been playing that out in his own life. And gosh, that's so beautiful. And seeing Kuma lying there as his last pieces of individuality fade, but what he's thinking about, what he's remembering is the people that he's never stopped fighting for. I don't know, it's so tragic, but it's also so beautiful. And that's exactly what this flashback has been. That's exactly what this chapter has been. The tragedy and the beauty mixed together. And I think Tassine, my artist, captured that mixture of that beauty and that tragedy so well. In the past, we've seen Kuma react to, okay, well, if you're going to use my body to create something that will be a defender of the people, then maybe my life will have been worth something. Kuma, your life is so worth, your life is worth so much already. But here he is thinking, I wonder how my life has negatively affected other people. And I've been told that this is a scene that people have been responding quite heavily to, so I know you felt it too. But this slideshow of seeing Kuma be born, and since he was born, he's been running. Since he was born, he's been fighting for so many people in his life. He's been working so hard, and he's just never stopped running. And even to the very end, he can go knowing that there will be someone defending his people. He can go knowing that the world has a protector, so it's gonna be okay. But as he lies there and he's forgetting, we watch in real time, we watch him forget people And as people are fading from his mind, as he's losing his memories and his consciousness and his individuality, his sense of self, as we watch these things fade, he's still thinking about Bonnie. He's still thinking about someone wishing her a happy birthday. His whole life has been nothing but running, and it's been nothing but looking out for the people that he loves. And here in his very last moments, as we watch his very sense of self fade, he's still, his last words and his last thoughts are for his daughter. And seeing him smile as his sense of self is erased, and as he's thinking about the trouble that he's caused to other people, but we have Vegapunk physically shaking and weeping as he has to pull down the lever, and seeing Bonnie completely racked with tears. It's just incredibly written. This whole chapter is a mix of the pain that's been caused and the hope that has kept Kuma moving, that has kept Kuma standing. That balance of pain and love is incredible. It's incredibly executed. Man, I feel like I'm doing such a terrible job at being able to actually analyze this chapter, because it was just a perfect chapter. Like, it was just a perfect chapter. What is there even to say about it other than what was said by Oda? It was the perfect chapter to end the year on, and it was the perfect chapter to end the flashback. I assume the flashback is over now, and 2024, we're gonna hit the ground running with more pain of a different variety. It was incredible. This flashback was brilliant, and this conclusion, it could not have been better. But let me know what you think. Was it the perfect chapter for you? Was it the perfect conclusion to Kuma's story up to the point where he lost his sense of self? Is there anything else in the chapter that you want to discuss? I'd love to continue talking with you about it. My thumbnail artist and my art piece artist are always linked in the description of my videos, so go show them some love. They do incredible work. I post videos every Monday and Friday on this channel, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on the book channel, always linked in the description. Check it out if you like. I'll see you again soon. Bye.